Welcome to this edition of The Forum. I'm your host, Sheila Evans. We have a great show in store for you today with an outstanding lineup of guests. We get our show started today by talking with Craig Heim, the CEO of the United Way of the Cape Fear. He will tell us about their 2017 campaign and how you can get involved. Then we meet with Betsy Stanwood, Secondary Transition Specialist. What's next in your life transition fair is October 26th, and she will tell us all about it. And finally, Anderson Elementary School nurse and newly published author Katie Oslin joins us. She will tell us all about her book, The Details of My Reality, and how she handles the dual role of author and nurse. We've got a great edition of The Forum for you today, and we'll get started right after this short break.
Start your day with New Hanover County Schools, The Morning Show. This Rise and Shine program will put a smile on your face and a spring in your step. Best of all, you'll start the day a little smarter, knowing more about our district leaders and teachers, discovering new frontiers in science and technology, and getting the latest school news from across the district. New Hanover County Schools, The Morning Show, educating all viewers to achieve today and tomorrow in a global community. Only on this channel.
I am introducing you to the new CEO for the Cape Fear United Way, Craig Heim. And Craig, tell us a little about yourself and what brought you to Wilmington.
Well, I have worked in 8 previous communities with United Way. This is the 9th United Way that I've worked with. My background is a change agent, so I've come into communities to talk about creating new United Ways. And if you think about each community around the country, we're all looking at the same puzzle, the same equation. How do you grab a hold of a community so you're able to grow a future that's better for our children than we've inherited? As good as this area is, and it's a beautiful, wealthy, intelligent area with tremendous leadership, United Way is going to be a player in this community at a different level. And what we're looking to do is to go out into the community and create partnerships, first of all with schools, to create a United Way around 3 areas of focus. First is children, the second is families, and the third is neighborhoods. And all 3 are strategies that work together. So if I were to say, what would be the one thing we're looking to do in United Way, we want to embrace all of the children in Cape Fear, to grow up with character and the ability to succeed in school. Because if we can do that one thing, then so many of the problems we try to deal with in a remedial way will no longer be a problem. And it isn't just being a community problem solver, because that assumes that the problem's already there. So what this United Way will do is try to swim upstream and figure out, how do you get there before the accident? How do you organize community resources in a proactive way where more kids are succeeding? And it isn't just doing that with the helping children. You have to have families that are supportive of these kids. Right. The reason why most kids don't succeed in school isn't because of what happens in school. It's because of what's going on when they're not in school.
Correct.
So if we're going to have successful children succeeding in school with supportive families, and I leave that undefined, loving adults that are going to look after these kids and supporting them with that, whatever they need to do that, in neighborhoods that are safe, full of pride, neighborliness, and so forth. Are we smart enough to do that? I think we are. So one of the first visits that I had was with the superintendent who is on our board to say, what do we need to do as a community to be able to support these kids where we own the grades, we own the dropout rates, we own the SAT scores, we own the graduation rates, so that we're owning that with our children and providing the support that they need. It's going to be a different United Way. And when I look around communities, each one is attempting to figure out the same thing. But we're not always good at it. And too often we get stuck in our routines of operating a business. It's kind of like before, with little changes. We're talking about fundamental change and creating a United Way in this community that's different from what's being done in other places, and then sharing that information with other communities to say, here's something that might work.
Speaking of sharing with communities, do you bring something here that you immediately, some kind of programming that you think we would benefit from already?
Yes. When I was meeting with our communications volunteers, they said, and I presented this idea of a new United Way, they said, okay, so you're just going to bring this idea that you had in Syracuse into this community. I said, absolutely not. It has to be created by the community itself where you're not going to have ownership.
Right.
But I'm not going to be disingenuous enough not to begin with, it's going to be promoting strong kids succeeding in schools, supported by loving adults that are going to look after these kids in neighborhoods that are getting safer, and we know how to do all three of those things. It isn't that we don't know how to do that. It's just that we don't meet the requirements of all of our kids. Most of the kids in Cape Fear are succeeding because we're meeting their requirements. And I mean starting early, prenatal, the body's forming. No, don't eat that. We're talking about vitamins and minerals. We're talking about nutrients for the body as the body's forming, and once the child's born, now the brain's forming. This is the equipment we use to think.
Correct.
And it isn't just physicality, it's also what are the mental stimulations that we need so kids can enter school ready. Numbers, letters, words, a safe lap for a child to sit on so we can read them a story. Now you read to me. And then the spiritual aspect of a human being where we're giving a sense of a larger world than they see, to expand their horizons so that they can see greater possibilities. I won't get into religious things, but just to take them out into nature. Nature teaches. Show them the night sky and try to explain what these little lights are so that they begin to expand their horizons. So when they enter school, they're going to be stimulated to learn. And then that's only the first part. Once they're in school, what do we need to do to embrace these children so they stay on track? And then what do we need to do beyond that so that they go school to work? Maybe immediately right into work, or vocational work, bringing that back on a larger scale, or college. So most people are going to see United Way as a campaign, as a solicitation process. And we're going to turn that around. It's not going to be a solicitation process that includes communications. It's going to be a communications process. The onus is on us to be able to present a United Way that is inspiring and intelligent and impactful.
It's always amazing to me that probably 20 years ago on a field trip with kindergartners, we had many kids who'd never seen the ocean.
Isn't it? And what happened to them?
They live in Wilmington, and there's no public transportation. There is now, but that was an eye-opener for me.
Well, and
here
the
we
arts
have this
program,
great ocean, and
arts programs,
half of those kids hadn't seen it.
And field trips to museums, show them the best that we've done. Inspire these kids, because too many kids live in small worlds, and that's our responsibility.
Right. Well, I look forward to good things happening. It's nice to meet you. Glad to have you here.
Well, I'm so glad to be here. Thank you very much.
I'll be back in a few minutes right after these messages.
Your company can join these local businesses in offering students with disabilities the much-needed experience to compete in today's job market.
To see the kids every day come in and certainly have a sense of accomplishment and do a job well done, it's very enriching to not only the kids but also to all of us around here.
For young people with disabilities, participating in mentoring programs, job shadowing, and internships are great ways to make them stand out among other job applicants.
I'd say it's kind of a win-win. I mean, not only are you doing the right thing for the community and these kids, but you're also allowing them to grow and get the skills necessary to be successful in the future.
Internships serve as skill-building tools for students to obtain vital career development. If your business would like more information on how it can benefit from adding a student intern from New Hanover County Schools to its roster, please contact the Special Education Department now at 254-4445.
They're doing a fantastic job, and we couldn't be happier.
I am joined by Betsy Stanwood, and she's the Secondary Transition Specialist. I hope I got that right. You could see me looking at her off camera. My bad, because I didn't write it down. But you are here to talk about the Transition Fair. It's a pretty cool event.
Yes.
Kind of fill us in.
Well, it's on October the 26th. This year, Thursday night, it's at Cape Fear Community College at the Union Station building. This will be our 7th year that we've had the fair. Last year we had over 500 people there. We're hoping this year to have more. We actually have expanded the focus this year to include not just a grade 8 through exit and graduation students and their families, but all the way down to preschool.
Oh, wow.
So we have had a huge public campaign trying to get the information out to all of our parents of students with disabilities, whether they're in pre-K or whether they're getting ready to leave school. Our philosophy has been that transition is something that you cannot start planning for too early, and there's a lot of families out there of our younger students who don't know about the services that are out there in the community. So this is an opportunity for anyone with a student with disability to come and talk with agencies, talk with, for our older students, some employers, and get information about what is out there for them in terms of supports and services. We've got approximately 70 participants this year.
Nice.
We've got 15 employers that have registered, and we've got about 60 agencies, employers, or agencies and post-secondary sites that will be there. In fact, we've actually had the nice problem of having to shut down registration this year. This is the first time. But we're very excited. As I said, it's at Cape Fear Community College. The hours will be from 9:30 to 2:30. It's on the 5th floor in Union Station building. We will shut down from 2:30 to 4:30 to allow our participants to go get a late lunch. Then we'll
late lunch, early dinner.
Exactly. And then we'll open up again at 4:30 and stay open from 4:30 to 7 for our families that have to work and can't get there during the day. In the past, we have had evening presentations. This year, we're not doing that. We're keeping our agencies and employer or agencies there for families to come in and walk through and talk with them. During the day, we actually are still going to transport some of our high school students who will be going through, they have some work activities from school that they will do some transition planning for themselves and then come in and ask specific questions. So we will be transporting students from our 4 traditional high schools and Career Readiness Academy. They'll be coming through during the day, so they have some activities which families that are coming through can also participate in during the day. We have some mini sessions that will be going on about every 15 minutes. Some of them will have to do with self-disclosure about their disability. There will be some sessions on self-determination, self-advocacy. Another will be on answering the question in an interview, tell me about yourself. A lot of our students struggle with that question.
Oh, it's so vague, it's hard for everybody.
Yes, it is. And they don't really know what to do, especially not having a lot of work experience. Our final one is just on tips for your first job interview. So we'll have staff in there that will lead discussions. Students can move through those. We also have another room set aside where students can go in and complete a Hollins Career Assessment. With staff in there to score it for them and help them locate the area that they have the best interest in terms of looking ahead for employment. So we've got a lot going on. We've had great response for donations for the fair, for door prizes. So we'll be giving away door prizes. Everybody can come for that. They'll get a ticket at registration. We'll be drawing for door prizes every 30 minutes, so everybody will have an opportunity for that. So it's a pretty cool event. It's been great managing it. Having our 7th year, we're really hoping to have a lot more people coming in and talking with us and talking with the employers, talking with the agencies and getting all the information they need.
Right. So I actually was there last year.
Yes.
And I thought, what a great experience for these, especially the high schoolers that were coming in during the day, to interact with adults in a professional setting.
Yes.
And talk a little bit about the way they come dressed up.
Oh, yes. We asked them because this is a job interview, so to speak, and it is part of their work hours for a lot of the students who are on occupational course of study. So the expectation for them is to come as if they're going on a job interview, not necessarily a coat and tie, because most of our students are not going to those type of jobs.
We did see some of those, and they were mighty proud to be in those coats and ties last year.
Yes, they were. Some of them did choose to do that, but we talked about what is appropriate attire for a job interview, so that is the expectation. That's actually part of the instruction that they get ahead of time. They are to come in prepared, and we even talk with the staff about how they can model that for them so that the students will be aware of what's appropriate. Not having a logo or having your hoodie all over your head and those kinds of appropriate behaviors. Yeah.
And there is no registration fee, correct?
No registration fee. It is completely free. No one has to call in advance. We do ask that people, when they come into the lobby, there'll be a registration there that they sign in. We like to know who will be there. We actually do this in conjunction with Pender and Brunswick County Schools.
Oh, that's right.
So they will have students coming in from their schools. Parents from their school systems are invited as well. So when we register, we like to see who is there.
Who's coming, yeah.
Right. We also have evaluations that they will get at registration so that we can get input from everyone on how we can improve. What we're doing this year, expanding to the preschool, is actually a suggestion that was made that we felt pretty good about, so we're very excited about doing that.
Gotcha. And where can folks get more information?
Certainly they can get more information. All they have to do is go on New Hanover County Schools website. There is a button at the bottom that says Transition Fair.
Easy enough.
Exactly. It will take you to a link that has a home page that tells about it. It lists all of the agencies and employers and has a link to their web pages. So if parents are interested, they can go to those links for the ones that have registered and sort of find out a little bit more about them before they come to the fair and know who they specifically would like to speak with.
And it is October 26th?
26th. It's on a Thursday night at Cape Fear Community College.
Very good.
Yes.
Well, Betsy, thanks for coming and making sure that we all know about that.
Yes.
And we will be back right after these messages.
Get connected with your school system. Your School News covers news that matters for parents, guardians, and Greater New Hanover County. Stories about preparing students for success in a changing world. Stories where students are achievers.
Internship I had to, we pretty much made a vehicle from spare parts, and at first we made it so it just moved, and then we made it so it was an electrical vehicle.
Stories of teaching where every child yearns to learn.
Today is all about STEAM. STEAM is kind of the key word to tying art into science, technology, engineering, and math.
Your School News brings viewers more than 8 hours of school news and information, reporting on what's happening in the district, what students are learning, how the school system operates, and beyond. Your School News, only on this channel.
My guest is Katie Oslin, and she is a school nurse, an RN as a matter of fact, at Anderson Elementary, but she's here to talk about a book she's written. Katie, tell us about the book.
Well, the book is called The Details of My Reality. It follows the main character, Amy, through high school and into adulthood, and it highlights a lot of the experiences and circumstances that she comes across through life, love, friendships, hardships. She's put in some very difficult circumstances, and she has to make some very hard choices that ultimately shape the way that her life turns out. My hope with writing it is that we can, as women, build a sense of camaraderie, knowing that someone else has been through a similar situation and knows, you know, the kind of emotional roller coaster that we have been on as women. Also, for the younger crowd, 15 to 16, I would say, hopefully they would be able to learn a little something.
Nice. Very good. How did you come up with the idea for the book?
Well, the book was, again, based on that desire for me to help women, and like I said, to build a sense of camaraderie that would resonate with everyone. It was a fun book to write. It's kind of a time capsule, if you will, to go back in time and cry and laugh and smile at all the things that we did as teenagers. And I felt that writing a book like this, again, like I said, would be beneficial to women of all ages. So it's kind of a crossover, a young adult to an adult book.
Nice. So it's a very pretty book. Tell us about the cover.
Thank you. Well, the publishing company which is Black Rose Writing, had sent me a ton of images to choose from that they thought would be good and
Right.
very representative of the work. And as soon as I saw this photo, I just fell in love. I just knew that that was it. And once you read the book, the photo really makes sense and kind of takes on its own personality as well. And now a lot of people have thought that that is me on the cover that I posed for, but it's not. It is not me. That's not a photo of me. Although that's flattering, but no, that's not me. But the image really represents the content of the book itself. So.
Okay. Tell us about the publishing process.
The process was a very long and strenuous, nerve-wracking process. It took about 2 years from the time that I finished my manuscript to sitting here next to you. Being that I'm not famous and I've never been published before, it took me a while to find, first of all, an editor that was willing to take on my manuscript, who saw the potential and that knew that it could really be something. And once I found him, and I worked with him back and forth for about 9 months editing. We didn't do, page by page. It was the entire manuscript sent to me and then back to him. And so it was a lot of back and forth. Once we finished the manuscript, which was in January, he had found me a publisher in April of this year. So once I found the publisher, it went very, very quickly.
What's it like to hold that in your hand?
My gosh, it's like holding a child in a sense, because that's the analogy I like to use, because I've pictured it and I've waited for so long to see it and to hold it and to actually have it in my hands. It was almost like I birthed it.
Well, you did.
Yeah.
Are you working on any other books?
I am currently in the editing process of my second novel. It's called Passed Down, and it centers around a couple that struggles with infertility, and they reach out to a physician who is willing to help them as long as they are willing to do a little bit of a scientific experiment with him as far as designer babies. I don't know if you've heard of that, or genetic modification.
Right, yeah.
And so it was really fun for me to write this book, because I got to combine my two loves of, medicine and writing.
Very good. Where can people pick up your book?
Here in town, it's you can buy it at Two Sisters Bookery in the Cotton Exchange. Also at the Island Bookshop over on Carolina Beach. I did donate a copy to the library, so it's in the circulation here in town. You can also buy it on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Hard copy and ebooks are available. And then from directly my publisher, which is blackrosewriting.com.
Very nice. Do you have any events coming up?
I have some really exciting events. Actually, this weekend I'm going to Nashville, Tennessee. I have a book signing there. There's another tour that I'm going to with my publishing company in Miami. There's one in San Antonio, New York City next year. Lots of things coming up. But locally, I have a signing set up for November 11th. It's at Two Sisters Bookery from 10 to 12.
Nice.
Then I also have some others in the works. I don't have any specific dates yet, but if people are to follow me on Facebook at KDL Oslin or Twitter at KDL Oslin, you'll get more updates on that. But I will have some signings at Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, and the Northeast branch of the library. I'm going to be doing a presentation, about a 20-30 minute presentation on the book and on the writing process and the publishing process, and then afterwards we'll be doing a signing.
Very good. So you said this book kind of starts with young adulthood.
Yes.
Did you bring personal experience to it? Was that one of your, was high school a bad time for you? Or
High
not
school,
really, or just
no,
observations?
high school was actually one of the best times for me. I had a great time in high school. But it does have some parts of Katie are in Amy. I will say that. I won't say, I mean, it's not a biography by any means.
Oh, no. Well, just,
But yeah, I did pull from my own experiences of people that I know. I even people that from back home. I'm from a little town called Ravenna in Ohio.
Okay.
There are some references in the book that I made to that town. Like, for instance, the stadium when I went to high school was Gilchrist Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
There was a group of guys that called themselves the Posse when I was in high school. There's another reference I made to some local businesses. I'm trying to think. There's a couple other references. Oh, the Pit. That was another thing. Like, when you went to basketball and football games, there was a group of the diehard fans that were down there that painted, the name Ravens. We were the Ravenna Ravens, and they would paint that on their chests, and they had the megaphones, and they would dye their hair, and
right.
So yeah, there's some references to my life and my days in high school. But like I said, I mean, I had a great time with some really great people.
Now, are those elementary children just in awe that you've done this?
They are, actually. They think I'm famous already, especially the little ones. But the older kids, I've been invited to the classrooms to talk with them about the writing process and the editing process, and how it's not just
right.
a one and done kind of deal,
right.
and how you have to work
right.
to make it your...
I've written it, I'm done.
Yeah, exactly. They
Very
just
good.
want to scribble it and be on their way. So yeah, I feel like I've been able to inspire a lot of the kids. So.
Excellent. Well, Katie, thanks for stopping by
No
and
problem.
sharing
Thank you
that
so much for
information with
having
us.
me.
And we'll be back in a few minutes right after these messages.
Make 'em laugh, make 'em laugh. Don't you know everyone wants to laugh? My dad said, be an actor, my son, but be a comical one. They'll be standing in lines for those old honky-tonk monkey shines. Or you could study Shakespeare and be quite elite, and you could charm the critics and have nothing to eat. Just slip on a banana peel, the world's at your feet. Make 'em laugh, make 'em laugh, make 'em laugh.
We hope you've enjoyed our program today. To learn more about the United Way of the Cape Fear or to get involved, please visit their website at uwcfa.org. The What's Next in Your Life Transition Fair will be held on October 26th at 9:30 a.m. in the Cape Fear Community College Union Station Conference Center. For more information, you can call 254-4449 or visit the school system's website at nhcs.net. If you would like to order a copy of The Details of My Reality, go to the website blackrosewriting.com/romance/The Details of My Reality. You can also follow the author on Twitter at Kate L. Oslin and friend her on Facebook. Now, if you ever have any questions about the topics discussed here on our show today, please call the school system's public relations office at 254-4180. I'm Sheila Evans. Thanks for joining me today.